common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
You got Ralph Reed, Rita?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead. Let's go ahead.
Yes, I do. Boy, and everybody's talking about who's going to also be on the Democratic side. But joining us here, John, as we continue live with our great Katz and Cosby coverage from the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, we have Ralph Reed, who is, of course, the head of Faith and Freedom Coalition. And Ralph, first off, I just got to get you to react to the big news that just happened, that we're hearing that Kamala Harris, there are reports she's vetting 4 people for her vice president, so she's already measuring the drapes. Your reaction to what's going on the Democratic side?
Wow, I guess they're not even going to wait until the body is cold, huh? I mean, it's pretty incredible. You know, Rita, it's funny. I've been doing this a long time. This is my 10th convention. It'll be my 12th presidential campaign, and there's the old Mark Twain line, which is, I'm not a member of an organized political party. I'm a Democrat. But there is a sense in which it's usually the Republicans who organize themselves into a circular firing squad. But this time, it seems to be the Democrats. And I don't think there are a lot of good options, candidly. I don't think keeping Biden is a good option. I don't think throwing an incumbent president under the bus and choosing his even less popular vice president is a good option. And I don't think if you want to motivate black voters, I don't think it's a good idea to throw under the bus the first African-American vice president in American history.
Oh, no, she says she's president, it looks like.
So I just think they're not holding a very good hand. They probably should have thought about this before, but they didn't. They rallied around the flag. They lied to the American people. They deceived people. And now they're reaping what they've sowed.
You know, Ralph Reed, head of the Faith and Freedom Coalition, definitely one of the biggest religious leaders in America. You've been messaging back and forth with President Trump. I know you know him. We think about, John and I were just talking when it happened, when the shooting happened. It is by God's grace that he's alive. I mean, you look at that. What went through your mind, and what will you say when you see him, hopefully in a few hours from now, Ralph?
Well, we had an event this morning, Rita, headlined by J.D. Vance. It was in the Pfister Hotel, which is where the president is staying, and I've been in touch with him. And we had 1,000 evangelicals, including about 200 in overflow, that held hands and were led in prayer for his protection, for his speech tonight, and that God would use him as an instrument in a second term. And I'm not a prophet. I'm a political actor. Okay, I'm a recovering political operative. So I'm not saying thus saith the Lord. I'm not trying to prophesy, but I have always felt that it was hard to come up with an explanation for Donald Trump apart from the fact that God had his hand on him. I mean, think about it. This is the first person to ever be elected president of the United States who wasn't either a cabinet member, senator, governor, House member, or a war hero. This is a guy who wasn't in politics, got on a golden escalator in Trump Tower, rode down, and literally took over one of the 2 major parties like he was buying a golf resort out of bankruptcy. And then you look at how he performed, the economy, how women did, how blacks did, how Hispanics did, the lowest unemployment, the highest increase in personal wealth, how strongly he stood with Israel, flipping the Supreme Court so that it became think about this for a minute. This is the first conservative Supreme Court that we've seen in our lifetimes. There's probably no one listening right now who's ever seen a conservative court because there hasn't been one.
And yet the Democrats are coming out, and even folks from the Biden administration today, Kamala Harris just a little bit ago, saying that they have a problem with this Supreme Court because they're not happy with the decisions. How big of an issue is that threat to our values that they would go after even the Supreme Court?
I mean, honestly, Rita, I know they're desperate, and they're doing everything they can to fire up a base that is demoralized and almost in a coma. But depending upon what is formally announced, and we don't even know at this point if it will be announced by Biden or Harris, I assume it will be by Biden. But if they walk into the punch of calling for a packing of the Supreme Court or even draconian term limits, this is an old playbook. Remember, this is what Franklin Roosevelt tried to do. Franklin Roosevelt, when he was doing the New Deal, and the legacy conservative court appointed by the Republicans who preceded him was striking down New Deal legislation, he had a plan to pack the courts. It backfired on him so badly in the 1938 midterm elections that no one has tried to do it for 80 years. If Joe Biden tries to do that, it will backfire just as miserably. They're running around saying we're a threat to democracy, we're a threat to the stability of our constitutional order, and they want to pack the courts and just take it over. That will be a big turnout issue for us, Rita.
Yeah, I think so too. And by the way, the polls, there is an energy and there is a buzz here at the Republican National Convention like I have never seen. Ralph Reed, we love having you here, sitting right beside us here at the Republican National Convention here in Milwaukee. John, back to you.